Welcome to Color Folk Anime, where we talk about anime from a colorful perspective, commentary on nerd culture. We are going to be talking about a review, a retroactive review on Cowboy Bebop. But before we get to all that, got to introduce my friends first. We got Jordan, Chris,
hi,
and behind the mic, big man Malcolm.
Hello.
And then he said it like the big man behind the mic. Hello. And if you're watching us on YouTube and you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button. Get it done. We need your help. We're trying to get to 100 by the end of the year. And we're close. I say that because closer than I thought we was going to get. And I'm super ecstatic about it. Rate and subscribe us on iTunes. That's how it gets our stuff pushed out to the algorithm and other people finds out about us. Listen to us wherever you can listen to podcasts, on Spotify, on Google. If you're a Google podcaster person, I should make fun of like Google podcasting people. And also listen to us on Anchor. That's the plug. Leave us some voice messages. Well, we will play it on the show. I don't know how, but we will make it happen because you found it important enough to leave us a voice message, and we respond to everything that we get. First of all, I want to shout out to Karina Jarkeen. I feel like I'm saying her name wrong. If it got a Q in it, do you default to K, or like do you pronounce it like Queen, Jarqueen? You know what I mean? Like Jarquin.
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 Well, I mean, I don't know if she's Hispanic or not. Anyways, shout out to you. I'm gonna read her comment. So it's
this poor child.
Last week, she commented on our Hawkeye episode, and we were talking about the lady getting snatched up by the wild animal after getting out of her car.
Yeah.
I should again. it was like 5 seconds in.
I do remember that part.
Yeah, she's quoting me. She said, "Lance, I'm not trying to laugh." Right after he laughs. not gonna lie, I did too. And Chris said what we were all thinking about: privilege and stupidity. Mm-hmm. LOL, right off the bat, y'all having me cracking up as usual. Shout out to you, Karina. I'm just gonna say your first name because I want to respect your last name.
Can somebody double check to make sure he's saying that right?
I'm dead.
If I said that, leave a comment on this video if I said it right or wrong. Do like the dictionary pronunciation way to do it, like with the little dot in the middle and the accent marks and stuff like that. I don't need to. Yeah, I need to get that right. Where am I at? Oh, so speaking of getting things wrong, let's talk about. I'm just gonna read it verbatim. So Cooper was on our show.
I didn't know where you were going with it, but hilarious. Go on.
Cooper was on our show, friend of the show, a friend of us, and it was a blast having him on the show. He was on our show as we were talking about Shang-Chi as we had just gone to see the movies about it. So he shouted us out on our Facebook. I'm not gonna read. Actually, I'm gonna read his whole status because it's in front of me. He tagged us, shouted us out. Shout out Cooper. So this isn't like any sort of slight to Cooper or anything like that. Some friends recently invited me to participate in a couple of episodes in their podcast. Guess who that was? Which I've followed since its inception. This is the first episode of 2. It's funny because he has been watching us since like day one when we didn't even know what we was talking about. So this is great. I appreciate you, Cooper. It was very fun. And if you have any interest in anime or Marvel, you should give them a follow on YouTube or whatever podcast source you prefer. A friend brought to my attention, this is in parentheses, so he wasn't saying it like the main point, but just like a, hey,
side.
A friend brought to my attention a concern about the name of the podcast. I'm not going to comment on this other than to say that if you like to ask the host any questions, I know they'd be happy to talk with you. Yeah.
We would be. We like to talk.
Also, go see Shang-Chi. It was really solid. Morris is the best boy, and you can't change my mind. Shout out Cooper. What do you guys think about Cooper's friend's opinion on the name of the show? I have plenty thoughts.
My first thought is if your friend is of the Caucasian persuasion, she should have taken a page out of your book and not said anything at all. At all. Why? Because we don't care what he has to say. We don't care what he has to say. Because it's not about him. It's not about him. Need for him not to make it about him, especially if he is white. So I just gonna throw that out there. So sorry.
Who pronounces the H?
White. I'm just saying. White. White.
I think nowadays, people have taken this ally thing really seriously in certain areas.
Where they start checking the people they're supposed to be allies for. What?
Yeah. And I mean, I get the sentiment. I get why it was like that used to be a naughty word, and you didn't call them that. But I mean, on the same token, it's not problematic to me. Especially because I mean, to us calling ourselves that. So I mean, it's not like
Yeah.
So I personally don't have any issue with it. I haven't heard anyone else that said they have an issue with it. I mean, there might be some other folks that are like, the title. But again, like you said, some people, I guess most people probably just keep it to themselves if they have a problem with it. But I mean, I don't want people to feel like they can't dialogue with us about it.
Right.
But at the same time,
but also,
I mean, we ain't gonna change it. Like,
It's like
I mean, it's one of those.
We like
things
how many
now-
episodes?
Right. I mean, it's one of those things now too, where it's almost kind of like it's almost like a shock and awe kind of thing too. Like, how could they call themselves that? And then it's like, well, I mean, you could listen and find out. Like, but I don't know. It's not problematic to me.
Yeah.
But I mean, I am like the resident white boy on the panel. So
You are the furthest left on the color sheet.
I am. That's true. I am also
he's
also
right,
the
just
furthest-
left of the paper bag. You in the
Yeah,
house.
yeah, it's true.
Thank you.
I have my summer color.
Thank you, Brother Beige, for your thoughts.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. Y'all crack me up.
You know. Oh, sorry, Malcolm. I
Malcolm?
didn't know if you was gonna talk. You was gonna say something.
No, I got lots to
Oh
say.
yeah, he got to.
But you want to go or you want me to go?
No, go ahead, because
Okay.
I got a few things.
Okay.
I might have more. First of all, I've thought about this because just thinking about like commercial appeal.
Yeah.
People have a problem. And I came up
Sure.
with a PC answer that I haven't talked over yet, but I came up with a pretty PC answer. And
it's
was gonna
not
be-
my answer. Go.
No,
Yeah.
but it was going to be somewhere. Well, just explaining the name, it was going to
Yeah.
be somewhere along the lines of we're all colored. We're colored by our upbringings. We're colored by where we live. We're colored by.
We're gonna use that response from now
Colored
on.
by.
Yeah.
He's trying to actually make us money.
Yeah.
I was just like, no, let's be creative.
Those brand deals and stuff. Yeah. Keep going.
Yeah, he's gonna be our head of
We're all
PR.
colored,
Without a doubt.
we're all colored by our personal experience. We just happen to be black, but even among us, we're from different parts of the countries. Our parents didn't bring us up exactly the same. But as being black people, we have shared experience that helps the way we view certain media.
Yeah.
And then so it's a kind of a double entendre. That was the PC answer. The non-PC answer is, in short, you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Because pre James Brown, I'm black and I'm proud.
Yeah.
Colored was the preferred way to refer to a black person. Negro or colored was the preferred way. James Brown's I'm black and I'm proud was monumental because black was close to nigga. And that was him taking the word black, like we do nigga now, taking it back and shouting it out saying, so what? I'm black. I'm proud to be black, blah, blah, blah. So saying somebody was black was more troublesome than calling somebody colored.
Right.
So colored in and of itself is not demeaning. It's less demeaning than calling somebody a black person.
Historically.
Yeah.
So you don't know what you're talking about. It's more of a retro thing than a derogatory thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
Facts.
yeah.
The more educated answer that I could give is that you also have to like
She got the ignorant out now. She has
right.
to.
I had to get it out. I had to let the nigga out first, and now my talented 10th half is coming out.
That's W.E.B. Du Bois for those that don't know.
The piggy up.
Right. So the other thing you have to understand is like that language and the way that we use words and all that different kind of stuff changes over time. So there's always, you can't ever look at a word without context to it. We talked about Tokyo Revengers.
Yeah.
The symbol that they have for that, the manji symbol is really rightfully belongs to Buddhism, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, but because of the historical context that we as Westerners have for that word or for that symbol, it's something we align with like Nazis. And so it's like one of those things that's shock and awe for us when we see it. But if you go to places that have Buddhist temples, you will see that symbol there. Mm-hmm. And those Buddhist temples shouldn't have to be made to take that down because Western people think that it's offensive because we're only reminded about Nazis.
You have no reference outside of it.
Right.
Yeah.
So when we, in our more time context than like a culture, because it's still our culture kind of that those words are all wrapped up in. When you're looking at it from the context of someone in the 21st century, when you call upon the word colored, you're thinking primarily of the time period that word was used in without the context that word was used in historically. Mm-hmm. So the idea is that because we're in this side and now you can say Black or we're supposed to say African American.
I don't like that.
Right. So, but you're supposed to say African or Black American on this end of the historical spectrum. When we think back of the word colored, we immediately, and for us, are thinking back to a time period when there are signs up for people that say colored, then the separated bathrooms and stuff like that. We cannot disconnect that word sometimes from our standpoint from the actual word itself. And then once you throw a global context in there, then you really got to throw the baby out with the bathwater because words mean different things in different places.
Also, I would like to let you know that the C in NAACP stands for colored.
Yeah. National Association of the Advancement of Colored People.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I was like, what's the other A again? Advancement.
Too many A's. It's unnecessary. We know what you mean. Right? It could have just been
National Association for Colored People.
No, that's
So I had to throw that out there.
Yeah. Part of my issue, one, I'm sure the person hasn't listened to the podcast before. The whole point of the podcast is to highlight issues within, but especially within anime comic culture surrounding people of color. It's literally trying to do the responsible thing here. Is actually trying to have the conversations. You know, I personally got tired, and not that I won't talk about it, but I got tired of hearing who's stronger, Ichigo or Goku. Those conversations are cool, like that's fine, but that does nothing for my people. You know, my people.
Advancement of color.
Literally,
The advancement of colored anime fans.
but it doesn't add, like this whole podcast is supposed to add to the conversation in a different way. So yeah, I mean, sure. I think there is some within our time period. There's a problem with. I'm not gonna go super political, but there's like this hyper liberalism that kind of happens, where it's like everything has to be attacked if it makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah,
and I think the thing is if similar to what you were saying, it's like just because it makes you uncomfortable, bro. Like What are you talking? Like, what are you talking about? Like, my grandfather literally moved to Milwaukee because they was getting lynched in Mississippi. His mom had to send him and his brothers to Milwaukee because they was hanging black people. So it's a little bit different. I don't look at it like that's like you said, it's not a shock and awe in regards to how I view it or whatnot. But the hope is, hey, we're building on all of that. We're building on how colored people look and how they are, how they're represented in anime, in comic books, and in Marvel movies, DC movies. So yeah, so all that to say is, I hope that's like, it starts with the ignorant and hopefully ends with the kind of educated dicks.
Listen, I had to throw it out there because there's also that level of, if you don't stop getting mad on my behalf, I swear to God.
Like, I ain't even mad, bro.
It's like, did nobody even say that?
But it's like, it's like, you can't tell me as a black person what I should be offended by. Like, especially if I tell you there's no problem.
Right.
But a lot of times, do you want to insist that I should have a problem with whatever it is?
Yeah.
But also,
as if we're not actually actively fighting the thing.
Right.
We're monoliths.
Right. We're monolithic thinkers. Like, we all think the same. We all didn't have dads growing up. Like you know what I mean?
I hate that.
Yo, man.
I hate when people say that shit to me.
I'm a sports guy, so I'm going to bring back the sports. This reporter asked Kyrie Irving when he played for the Cavs, how does it feel to have a father figure like LeBron in your life? The reporter asked him that. And Kyrie Irving said, I only got one daddy. And he said his dad's name. He's like, that's the only daddy I got. Like, but to think that that's a question that you have off rip.
Right.
Like, not...
Because nobody else would have gotten that question.
Yeah.
And so, but
that's tough.
White people would look at that and say, why would he have a problem with that question being asked? I would have wondered the same thing. Like, because not all of us are fatherless.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
No, I'm cool with my dad.
Yeah.
What up, LC?
Yeah, but it's like...
my dad never listens to this podcast, but he's cool.
That's hilarious. But yeah, it's like, we don't... Like, being an ally isn't you fighting for us. It's like you being reinforcements.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's true.
It's not you telling us how to fight either.
Right.
That's not being an ally. That comes off... People won't say this, but that comes off more racist than other things. Is you telling me how I need to think, what I should be offended by. Like, that's still white people telling black people what they should do.
Right.
Yeah.
Even if you're not saying it out of necessarily a hateful place, it's still the same principle thing.
It's condescending at the very least.
Yeah, at the very least, it's condescending.
Yeah.
And on the other end, if there were, like, for example, again, I don't know if it was a black or a white person, which is, I guess, the white person was just the assumption. But if it was a black person, it's like, well, just do the histories, man. Like, do your Googles.
Yeah. Know your people.
Right. No, just because, and as we transition to our next topic, because you realize how important empowerment is and how important using these phrases, using phrases like colored people is a good thing, so that we can constantly be reminding people, yo, there was a time where, like you said, first of all, having two different bathrooms for like the same gender that had to cost a lot of money just to run it. Like,
they didn't spend much money on the colored people's bathroom.
It was outhouse.
Right.
No.
Like, that one, that one got a little box in there. Like,
right.
Take it out yourself.
Right.
Anyways,
but I will say, for just look from the outline, from the outside looking in, especially when you're talking about stuff like Black culture and other issues that other people of color go through or whatever, that when you're in the out group looking inwards, that you have to remember that even the most problematic, even seeming problematic seeming person of the in group opinion still more valid than yours because they're living
does
it.
N stand, is N like I-N or N like N-word N?
In like N-word, like not N-word, in like I-N. But the N group. So even if you're looking at issues that Asian Americans or Asian people the world over go through, even the Asian person seems the most problematic, has the most off the wall opinions about whatever it is that they should be doing or they could be doing or whatever, their opinion is still more valid because they are living the issues. Yeah. And it's the way that they have, it's the way they've come up with it's the way that they've decided they can best survive their struggle.
Right.
Yeah. So it's like they're still, if this is the way that someone wants to address and deal with the struggle that they encounter in the world because of the color of their skin, because of their gender, whatever it is that their hardship is, or that they perceive their hardship to be, they've made a decision on how they will best survive it. And that opinion is still more valid than someone that can't experience what they're experiencing. So.
Right. Super true.
Yes.
Now you talked about looking inwards. Let's talk about
looking
a video that you showed me.
From inwards to inwards.
So you showed me this video. I really want you to talk about it, but you showed me this video. I want you to describe it. We'll link it too, for sure, and the guy who made it. But yeah.
So there's a video out. It's funny that we transitioned to this called "The First Black Person to Say the N-Word" is by Lean and Cuisine, who is our mutual on Instagram. Hi.
Friend of the show.
Yeah, but this is blowing up. It's blowing up. But he basically, because he's like conceptualized the idea of like the first person to walk around and call the first black person to walk around and call other black people the N-word.
Good clarification.
Right, exactly. And so he plays these there's these two like characters, everything's in black and white, and they're talking to each other, and a guy walks by and just is like, like, what up nigga kind of thing, and he gets upset. His first initial reaction is to get upset, and the guy goes through this thing about like how they're gonna take the word back, and he's like, like you think I don't know what I'm doing. And so while he's yelling at the guy, he slips up and says nigga. And so then he kind of, it like, it's the SpongeBob, it tingles on the tongue. But by even just uttering it in the context of like that conversation with him, like gives him this realization. Is a very, very funny way to talk about something that has become, normal now. Yeah. But yeah.
Yeah.
It's good. It's hilarious.
It comes out his mouth and it's like an empowering moment.
Yeah. He said, yeah.
The other guy's like, yeah, how that feel?
Yeah.
How that feel? Take it back. That's yours. That word's yours.
And then he was like,
yo, that was top tier.
That was, that's a great video. It's a great video.
Yeah, that's high art. That is high art. There's, Van Gogh, Basquiat, and then there's this for sure. Without a doubt.
You said Basquiat. I'm sorry. This is super way off.
Oh my God.
But people, please, that shirt of Jay-Z wearing the Simpson character, and y'all saying it's Jay-Z, it is not Jay-Z. It is Basquiat. Jay-Z wears his hair the way he wears it because it's Basquiat. That's not Jay-Z on that shirt. I'm sorry. That pisses me off.
He said, speaking of Basquiat.
Right. Malcolm actually interned at the Louvre this past summer. So that's how he, resident art expert.
Correcting French people on their art.
Oh, man. Our next segment, favorite segment of the show. Jordan, what are we going to do?
What are we reading and watching and playing? Because we also be playing video games. So for me, this has actually been a pretty fruitful week in terms of new stuff. So I started watching Fire Force. Which has been fire.
Have you gotten to that?
I see what you did there.
All right. Okay. Now you get out. You get out.
Get out. There's the door. But no. So I'm like 4 or 5 episodes in so far.
Okay.
And it's dope. Like,
You haven't gotten to the it's so good except for that one girl. Have you gotten there yet?
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. The one who has like the
accidentally lewd girl.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm,
that was pretty funny. The first time where she met Shinra.
Oh,
that was pretty funny.
Yeah.
And then when she fell on Arthur Pendragon wannabe's face in the house.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she's pretty funny.
Yeah.
But no, so far the show is dope. And like that first real fight where he fought that dude in the house. Yeah. And the dude was like, "Oh, okay. All right." Like you all right, you're legit.
Some of the fights in that get so good.
Yeah, I can imagine. I can already see that. I'm only a few episodes in.
And then eventually you find out how OP the main character. Fucking hell. That's good.
Yeah, so I'm all aboard for Fire Force. Yeah. So that's been dope. I haven't started reading anything new, but I also caught up because they had that time I got reincarnated as a slime is now again. New episodes are coming out weekly again. And
they're doing a game for that too, ain't they?
Are they really?
Yeah, mobile game.
On principle alone.
Like it might be trash.
I'm still going to buy it. I support the idea. But yeah, so I've been watching that and it's great. So they had the I'm just totally gonna forget anyway. Where it left off at the end of the first season, at the end of this past season, was they had like the meeting of the demon lords, and then so they actually have it starts with this meeting, and it's called Walpurgis, I think, or something like that. But it's great, it's fantastic, so good. If you haven't watched That Time I Got Reincarnated as Slime, you need to. Even if you don't like the isekai genre in general, which I'm looking at you, Chris.
It's not even isekai. It's slime.
It is an isekai though.
It's slime.
It is an isekai though.
It's not that I don't like isekai. It's I don't understand the slime thing.
Okay, I'll bring it up after. I'll let y'all go. I got a whole other topic to bring up. That's not on our list.
Don't let it get you caught up because it's great. I'm just gonna bird's eye fly over that. I mean, it's funny because they don't spend a super amount of time be like, oh, this guy's a slime. I mean, they kind of joke. The show jokes about it more than anything. Yeah, okay. And like he has a really unique fighting style where he can like transform in and out of his slime form at will.
I did see him fighting.
And so like literally he's like escaping blows by transforming into the slime and then retransforming into his like humanoid shape to dodge blows. And I'm like, it's creative. I like it. So it's a great show. It's fantastic. So it's also like I got Cooper hooked on it because he came. We started watching it together. Yeah. It's also like God tier comedy. Like
so Flubber's an anime now?
Don't
you made that comparison the first time we talked about.
He did, exactly. And I, again, at that time, felt mad disrespected.
I will say, I think when we did our, because I did all the little like yes or no things to see if people agreed with some of our hot takes. And I think people agreed that he was anime Flubber.
Well, all of you are disrespectful.
I didn't vote on that.
We need to rehash.
It was new.
Yeah, we did.
Right. I could put another poll up and see what the people say now.
But it's fantastic. It's great action. It's hilarious. It is one of, if not the best isekai currently running. And it's fantastic. And as far as what I've been playing, so I just picked up Tales of Arise. Which is the newest installment in the Tales franchise and is supposedly supposed to be the soft reboot, they're calling it, of the franchise because it got a little stale, I'm not gonna lie. Because they were putting out, they put out a lot of games. Like the Tales franchise is one of the most classic RPG franchises ever. And so like the first one that I played was Tales of Symphonia, which was like on GameCube back in the day, and I played the mess out that game. Like it's one of the only
GameCube was great.
The problem is that by the time I was on PS2 wave, so like
I had a PS2 also.
I know, but I couldn't have both.
I was broke too.
I couldn't have both. I did mad which paper I thought was smart, but at the time I was like, why would I have a little disc? Anyways,
it's creative. The little disc.
Yeah, it was in Men in Black.
Yeah, right.
The second Men in Black. Remember? Right.
Yeah, I do remember.
Yeah,
it's weird.
Anyway,
and Resident Evil 4.
Yes,
It
true.
was- Yeah, that was hard. Yeah,
Was that the one with
That's
Shamar Moore in it?
one of the best video games ever.
without a doubt?
You had to think about that. Get out. Get out of my sister's house.
No, because I keep thinking about Code Veronica X, which is like not a number, but it's not a great game. So I had to ponder that.
Wait, you had to think of what? Code
Code
what?
Veronica, Resident Evil Code Veronica X,
I
which
know
is
what you're talking
like
about.
one of them in between games.
Oh, okay. One of the
Anyways.
offshoots.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I picked up Tales of Arise. It came out a couple weeks ago, and like I had played the demo, and I mean, so far it looks great, and I mean, it's getting like, it like on all the review sites right now, it's got either like a 9 or a 9.5 out of 10, like everywhere. So like people are loving this game. So I'm playing that. Or I literally just picked it up today. I've been playing the demo. And other than that, I think that's what's new as far as that goes. What about you?
Yeah.
Anything, Lance?
What
got going
about
on this
you?
week?
Oh, me? No. What about you? It's been a hard week, guys.
I've been considering the Tales of Arise.
You should stream
game.
it too.
I've been.
I watched a couple of your tweets.
I don't know.
Have
You might think it's too scary
That's great.
with your scary ass.
I know. Well, so I got finished playing Life is Strange. And so I was like, I don't want to jump right into Yakuza. And I've been having weird trouble sleeping lately. So I was up at like 3 or 4 a.m. playing this game called, what is it called? Oh, Find Love or Die Trying. So it's like a little like dating sim. And so you play this character that he's been kidnapped and he's in a house.
How is that a dating sim?
And listen, he's been kidnapped. He's in a house. He doesn't remember who he is. And he has the choice of was it 5 women? Or something like that. And so he has to like get one of them to fall for him at the end of the game, or they'll kill him.
Nigga, that's not a dating sim.
It is a dating
Yeah,
sim
no,
because you
it's
have
not.
to like
No,
date
that's,
all the
Nigga,
girls.
that's not a dating sim.
That's
Anyway.
That's a kidnapping sim.
Yeah, that sounds like some Get Out stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
Anyway.
yeah, that sounds like abuse.
That's like
So he has to date all these girls in the
So
house. The
he's got
girls
Stockholm
don't
syndrome?
know.
Is
The-
that-
I'm like,
so the
he got Stockholm
The
syndrome.
girls don't know that his life is in danger. The girls that
Okay.
he's dating don't know. The producers of the show know, but the girls don't know, and he can't tell them, otherwise they'll kill them all. So he has to
my
just
Lord.
purely get them to like him just from his interactions with them. So you have to like choose
so
the
this
stuff.
is like Catherine on crack.
Yeah, maybe.
So
So anyway,
ahead.
I'm playing it and I was playing through it and I didn't get a chance to save and my power went out about an hour into streaming it.
Dang.
So now I have to start over. But I didn't get very far anyway, so it's fine. But
you
it
ever
was still.
you ever see any of the Jubilee videos?
Yeah.
I
I always want to like commentate on those. Commentate. Can I say that?
Well,
I can say that. I'm
only
saying
reason I
it.
ask because I watch guys who comment. I never actually watched them. I watch people who watch them and comment on them because that's the best way to watch them sometimes.
I agree. I
But-
do.
There's one series they do where it's kind of savage, where it's either a group of guys or a group of girls, and the guy has to figure out who the gold diggers are because all of them are trying to get them to fall for
Okay.
them for $100.
The love or money one?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll tell you, it's the
Okay.
funniest stuff you'll ever watch.
The
And-
button is savage too.
Oh my
The
gosh!
button's real.
So they
Is
had
that
a-
on
yes.
there or is that on
That's
the
on
cut
there.
or something?
So yeah, that's on there. So they have this thing where just random people from both sides, they can sit down at the table, and the goal is for 2 people to end up together. But the problem is you can. Both people have the option, the ability to eliminate one another. So you can sit down and start talking to somebody. 2 seconds in, they hit the button, then you gotta go, and somebody else comes in. It is the best.
But you got to make sure that you're the one to hit
yes.
the button, not them. Otherwise, you get eliminated.
Right.
This is called what? The button?
The
you said?
button.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
On
All I wanna
Jubilee.
do is
Sounds
hit
kinda
the-
entertaining.
why can't I just hit the button on at all times?
Well, 'cause the goal is to end up
the
with
goal
the perfect
is to
match.
actually like get to a person that you would actually date.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
Some
but
people-
but you also need to not get eliminated.
Right.
So as long as you're the most desirable and entertaining person playing the game, usually you'll be able to last to the end, because then it's just a matter of you whether or not you're interested in the other person.
Yeah.
If everybody else is automatically going to be interested in you, that's often not the case.
Yeah.
Because people are usually not as attractive or as interesting as they think they are. So it's entertaining to watch
Most
for
people
those
aren't.
types of reasons. Because there's some people, when they get the button hit on them, they are legitimately shocked. Like,
How could they?
oh my
I'm
God,
so
what do
pretty.
you mean you don't want to sit and talk to me forever? I wanted to talk to you longer. It seemed like this was a my choice kind of thing.
Yeah.
And they get the button hit on them and they're just like, have to
So is the
reevaluate
button like in
life.
front of them? And
Yeah,
they can,
it's
it's
in
like
the
in the
middle
center.
of the
and
table.
like they can see them about to like
Yes.
give them the axe.
So sometimes
Yes.
you'll have someone
Like,
who's
make eye
getting ready to
contact,
press
like,
it and the other person to like beat them
Yeah,
to the
that's what
button
I-
or
Oh,
whatever.
word.
I would
Yeah.
talk with my hands on the table at all times.
Yeah.
Most of them do.
I'd be like,
They be
see,
like
I'm
this.
a hand
There's
model,
one girl, she
and,
was so
gotta
slick.
keep-
She was like listening to him, like leaned forward or whatever, and she was like,
Yes.
I was like, God damn.
Yeah.
She is savage.
That-
One girl, as
Listen,
soon as she
I was
heard the
like-
guy was like, "Sheila, what do you do for a living?" He's like, "Oh, I'm a computer engineer." Beep.
Oh, damn.
I'm like, yo.
This one person
That's
let them
messed up,
have
'cause
like
you know
a
he probably made a lot of money,
5-6
too.
minute
Yo,
conversation.
talk about it.
And they hit the button on him and it was like, but I thought it was going well. I don't understand. But it's like lull them into a sense of security
Yes.
and then press the button.
I'll tell you.
Get 'em
So that's
away.
that. All I have to
People
say
are
is that
savages.
reminds me of the show you just
Yeah,
talked
the
about,
Love
or
and
that
Money
game you
show.
just
Yeah,
talked.
yeah.
The game you just talked about. That's what it reminds me of. Except somebody's dying in the end.
Yeah.
Oh man, what are you reading, watching, playing?
Reading nothing as usual. I do need to start reading stuff. I want to pick up some stuff. Watching, caught up on Tokyo Revengers.
Hey.
Nice.
And all caught up on My Hero. They did the second part of
Decay.
did his story Shigaraki, I believe, right?
So
Don't look at me.
is it like weird? So we were talking about in the Discord. Are they literally just hoeing the entire show right now?
I haven't
As
read
Chris
the manga,
says.
so I don't know.
Oh, okay.
That's one of the
but-
reasons why I don't.
But not knowing
It's not a
what
great reason to not read.
not knowing what the manga is,
So I can enjoy it?
the episodes
It doesn't
are
make
great.
it. Okay.
The episodes
Cool.
are great.
I want to stay happy.
Maybe I'll read before I watch so that I can be angry. I want to be on the righteous anger side.
But yeah, so since I have no point of reference, I don't know what they're
I haven't
leaving
read
out,
anything
if
yet,
anything.
but I will.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's pretty.
Which is
It's pretty
interesting, I
succinct.
think, for My Hero, because they've been one of those series that's like,
Stuck
oh
pretty
wow,
good to
they're
the source
staying
material. Yeah.
exactly to what's happening. So I wonder if like the readers are feeling a little betrayed
Oh, I
because
know
they
Cooper
weren't
was feeling some type of way about it because
Yeah,
we were talking about
he was the one
it.
that brought it up.
Yeah, he was the one that brought
But
it up.
Yeah.
but I don't know. Like I said, I don't have a reference point.
Yeah.
Tokyo Revengers, great as always. Real nigga shit. As always. I watched an episode and a half of Star Wars Vision.
Yeah, you was talking about that. I need to. I'll watch it by the next
The
episode.
first episode is going to be my favorite because I like old samurai movies.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like 13 Samurai is like one of
Who
my
did that
favorite
that's a dope movie.
movies of all
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
And this gives you those vibes.
Fire.
Also the old Musashi stuff I like too. But
I
Facts.
feel like an old lady. I'm like,
That's crazy. I think
that's great. You look like somebody 70-year-old auntie right now.
is it
What
because
else
of my
I've been
hair?
watching? Yes. And then rewatching Cowboy Bebop for the
For
review.
today.
Yes.
Because I haven't watched it since it was on Toonami. So
Been a minute.
yeah, it's been quite a while.
I got the whole thing on Blu-ray.
Yeah, I have it on DVD. I have the collection. My brother bought it for me, I think.
Yeah, it's lit.
Yes.
bef-
Anthology series. Oh yeah, each episode is done. I was seeing if I could find it, but I couldn't find it quickly. Each episode is done by a different anime studio. Star
Right.
Wars
Yeah, for Star Wars
Visions.
Visions. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, do y'all have any studio that you're particularly excited to see?
I don't care.
If this up and coming studio who did Odd Taxi, if they can do an episode, that'd be fire. It'd be a really good plot.
Maybe
I
after
don't-
the success of Odd Taxi, maybe they did. Who knows?
right.
Right.
Who knows?
They had no hits before that.
Right, 0 hits.
I'll
That
mention this.
was it.
I'll mention this briefly because we probably don't have a lot to say on this. Tomb Raider anime is coming out, and the voice is going to be the lady who voiced Peggy Carter.
Who played her, you mean?
Yeah, well, who played her, but she's
and voiced
voicing her
Oh, okay.
on the
Oh, okay,
anime.
I see what you mean.
Okay.
Yeah. Thoughts, reaction. Who? Anybody play Tomb Raider?
I did.
Like the
old
OG one
ones.
for PS1.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah,
only one I played.
and I played the first new one they made. Chris watched me
Oh,
play
word?
some
I
of
did
that.
watch you
It-
play.
That was alright
Was it
too.
okay? Was that the one where
Actually,
they had
a
like in the
multiplayer-
wilderness with the bow and everything?
Yeah,
That was-
they had the multiplayer
That was
version.
cool. Where she's
that
like
was
a
fire.
kid.
Yeah, she's like
whatever.
a
I didn't
play
maybe
that
one. Was
early
it-
20s,
was that game
late
any good?
teens.
It looks
it was
good.
really
It's
good.
fire.
Was it?
It's fire.
Yeah.
April liked the game, and I'm like,
Maybe
she
I
was
was
like
it
playing
was
it.
yeah, it was really good.
Is it like is it third person or first
Yeah,
person?
it's third person. It's third
Okay, 'cause I
person.
can't do first person games.
Yeah,
It's,
no, I don't know how they would do.
They
first.
make her not a superhero in the game,
right.
which is
So you
refreshing.
can actually like hurt yourself.
like you
and-
hurt yourself,
you
you,
could
gotta
die
patch
easy.
yourself up. She's not like
Like she not diving through the air with like pistols.
No,
Yeah,
like
no,
you
she's
can
not
get like
doing all that.
punched,
fighting
like,
tigers
yeah.
and
Right.
and to make sure
She
you have
getting
struggle
bodied.
moments that's
She's
turned into like
Takamichi
quick
in it,
time
up
events.
in it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Does my biggest question: does the butler still follow you everywhere?
no, she's a what's her name in this
She's
one? She's stranded in this
Yeah,
one.
she's stranded on the island. So which
I mean,
it takes
but
all that
does
away.
the butler find her on the island?
I can't remember. No, I don't think. No.
Because you remember from the first game, right? When you're
Yeah.
at her house and like you could like literally
Oh,
lock
I
that
love the
nigga
house,
in-
'cause then
you could lock that nigga in the room upstairs and he would find his way downstairs. And I'm like, bro, what? How?
Because in part 2 of the house, they had a whole obstacle course in the back of our house.
Oh yeah,
And I was
that's
like,
right,
this
yeah.
don't even seem like the official way to work out or use of land, but you got all these different pieces of
She was training
equipment.
for Ninja Warrior.
Yo, that's
the
what it
whole
looked like.
danger room in the back of her house.
Yo, nah, that was Tomb Raider's one of my favorite PlayStation games.
Yeah.
And I was glad they made it available for Xbox. I had Xbox at the time, but I look forward to this Tomb Raider anime
Xbox
series.
is great.
Nah,
It is interesting to me that
Xbox
they're
has some platform joints that's alright. But anyway, sorry.
though that they're doing like or new anime version of this American game, or they just did a manga series of Cruella based off of the Disney movie
they really?
Cruella,
that's
and
fire.
like different
That was a
stuff like
great
that. And
movie.
I'm just kind of like, what's going on, guys? I'm not like angry
I don't want-
necessarily. We
I don't
got
want my
Star
food
Wars
to touch.
Vision, right? I was like, what? It's one of those things. It's like whatever that trend was, mustard and watermelon, where you're kind of like, that doesn't immediately feel right,
Well,
but
it's
everybody
not,
keeps
I
saying
think-
that it's good. So I guess
I think
not good.
partly to
That's an
blame.
aesthetic thing for me. I couldn't do it.
Yeah, partly to blame is
Nah.
well, one of these is the blame is stuff like the what ifs. That's part of like the reason why some people are feeling emboldened
Yeah,
to take
probably.
things
I
to.
don't know.
Probably.
I don't-
And I don't hate what ifs. I'm just saying
Okay,
that.
so this is my question. Can you
stay in the rain.
can you call it
Sorry.
can you call it an anime if it's not Japanese? Like it's coming out in English.
The Star Wars Arise is being called anime.
But it's actually being
But
made
it's-
by
But
anime
it's being
studios.
made by anime
so.
studios, but it's
Yeah.
also being made for American audiences. But then you have the Netflix thing,
No, I
right?
don't-
There's the Netflix
Now
anime.
I don't know if it's
that's-
being made for American audiences
You don't think so?
because like Animatrix and the Batman one, the Gotham Knights one,
Mhm.
and even watching these, it's not American style. Like it's
Yeah.
like watching it. It's not like watching even Avatar.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
You know what I mean? It's like watching an anime. So I don't know. I think they're just taking an American IP and putting their spin on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think about because there's that question with like K-pop or whatever that people used to
Yeah.
have too when it was starting to get popular.
Yeah.
And then other cultures or people would try to make K-pop groups. But then people
Those
were like,
can't-
oh, it can't be
those were
K-pop
hilarious.
because they're not Korean. So it's like, okay,
Y'all just insane.
is
Like,
K-pop a
it's pop,
music
right? It's just
genre
pop.
or is K-pop just music that comes out of Korea?
yeah.
Because then
a
how
valid
do you
question.
market it and all of it? There's a whole like industry-wide
It's both?
question. But that's
Yeah, right.
but that's the thing. So it's like, is anime an art? Is anime a style of making animated content, or is
No,
it Japanese?
It's both.
Or is
Anime
it both?
is champagne.
It's champagne. Okay,
Other places have sparkling wine, but for it to be champagne,
it's got to be
it has
from
to come
champagne.
from champagne.
Yeah.
Anime is
And
champagne.
from that specific monastery or whatever.
Never quite
in
heard it put that way.
Champagne.
Right. I mean, I don't
like
really know
that
jack
as a-
about
as
champagne
a
because I don't drink.
idea.
I mean, I'm cool with the analogy.
But then
Yeah.
it means that people that are trying to like break in, though, it's not necessarily valid.
But like Ace of Spade is a champagne, but you have to like the dude that's in Japan, the black dude in Japan making anime is making champagne. He's just bought a place to do it,
Right.
You know, on the land.
Yeah.
So you know what
So
I mean?
are the Netflix animes?
Are they making them here?
Some
I
of
don't
them.
know. Some of them are.
Then no, I would go that strict on it.
It says it's a cartoon. So Boondocks is not an anime.
No, Boondocks is not an anime. It's anime style, but it's not an
Yeah.
anime.
I don't
Yeah.
think. I mean,
Yeah,
Some
does
people
a
consider
Japanese studio do Boondocks?
no.
No.
Okay, so I wouldn't
No.
consider it anime. It's anime style. It's sparkling wine.
It's
Yeah.
like what it says,
It's not
anime
champagne.
adjacent.
Right. It's
It's
anime.
sparkling wine, it's
yeah,
not
I
champagne.
like that phrase.
Yeah.
Anime adjacent.
Yeah.
It's well, the thing about Tomb Raider too is because they kept trying to do all these different things, right? So they Angelina Jolie Tomb Raider to death, and even
They
she
did two of those,
probably,
didn't they?
Did
huh?
No, they
they?
did
Wasn't
two.
there? Was there just two?
No, they
Was there
did.
three?
They
Four?
did.
3 of them, right?
I
Wasn't
felt
it?
like it was 3.
She looked good though.
Yeah, I mean,
she
I
looked
wasn't
the part.
mad at it. I think the problem is again, like it just wasn't a fresh approach to. She was invincible, and
But that's how
That's-
she was in the game, though.
that's problematic. And so what they did is they rebooted it, and they brought the girl who played the Pink Ranger in the new Power Rangers
word?
reboot.
See, now that one I didn't see. I know what you're talking about, but
yeah,
I
and
didn't watch that one.
You
it was
didn't watch
all right.
Power
No,
Rangers?
the
new
when she
one.
Yeah,
a
it was
Tomb
all
Raider.
right. It got mixed reviews.
I don't
so-
think I ever saw. I don't think I ever watched that one.
Yeah, it was. It was. I liked it because it kind of gave her a more
Because
realistic.
that came out like what 2019, 2018, something like that.
It's probably a little bit 2017.
Oh,
It came
okay.
out right after the second Tomb Raider
Yep.
game, right? The second remake.
Yeah,
game.
the
Oh,
second.
oh.
Yes.
Okay.
And now they're trying to, and they got mixed reviews. I guess they didn't get what they were looking for. So the thing about them with this anime approach, I think they're just trying to figure out how people are gonna like it.
Well,
and
they're
just
trying.
stick
They're
with
trying
it.
to hop on the popularity of anime right
Yeah.
now. Like, that's
Yeah.
what it is.
Yeah.
Like,
So I don't think that they have like a dog in that quote unquote anime fight. I just think they are like, oh, anime, people like it.
yeah,
I'll
right.
go with it.
Yeah,
Put anime in that title there, make it a little clickbaity.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'll definitely watch Tomb Raider, so I'm gonna watch it. But we'll
I'm
see.
gonna watch
It's
it.
like they're nerds;
I
they
watched-
can't tell the
I
difference.
watched
Yeah, right.
Castlevania. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I'm
Throw
gonna watch.
'em a bone.
So I'm gonna watch
Yeah.
Tomb Raider.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Castlevania was alright.
Castlevania
But,
was good.
where we at time wise, real quick, before I go on my next.
Probably about 50-ish.
Oh, great.
Between 45 and 50.
Great. So, main topic. We're talking about Cowboy Bebop, not the new one because we ain't got like no Hollywood plug or nothing like that. We're talking about the old one, the oldie but a
OG.
goodie. So we are re-looking at this before the new one comes out. We'll probably more than likely review the series. We've been talking about it on a few episodes, but I wanted to spend time to talk about the old one only because it's only a few older animes like this. So this aired in 1999 in Japan, dropped in the States 2001. And like I said, I first saw it on Toonami. That was
Yep,
my first
Same
jam.
here.
And it's like I was telling y'all, I kept watching it, and it's funny because it felt endless at the time, and then as an adult, I found out I was like, "Oh, this is just one long season. That's it. It's not even long.
Not
It's
even a
kinda
long
like-
season, right? It's like an average size season.
right?"
But you know what I think? I don't know if it's true. I didn't look it up. I think the same voice for Spike in the in the dub version, is the voice of the Toonami robot.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, really?
It is.
Yeah.
Oh.
So,
Steve Bloom.
Yeah, I didn't even realize that back
the
in the
smoothest voice ever.
Yeah,
What
that's true. That's
For-
the voice of our childhood.
Yeah, right. Right. First question I'll ask is, with it being an older anime, we've talked about a bunch of newer joints. We talked about Hunter newer version. We talked about My Hero. We were just talking about that earlier. And I looked at the pop and I pointed that to it. What do we think about, does this stand the test of time? Is this any good in 2021 when we're watching it nowadays?
Yes, Watanabe is the GOAT. He can't do really anything wrong. So, yes, next question.
That's like the NBA people that do
exactly.
the next question.
Next question.
Next question.
That's funny.
Yes.
Yes. this
Somebody,
definitely-
who was that?
Yeah.
Sorry. That was what post game where somebody asked if they wanted to trade somebody and they was sitting right next to him. I think it was like the Clippers. Or it was the Suns. It was Chris Paul and it was Devin Booker. And they was like, they asked Devin Booker, "Hey, you feel like you've really been carrying this team, with the dead weight that you have?" and Chris Paul looks at him. Devin Booker looks at him. He's like, "Next question." it's a great moment, but
That would
anyways,
be super awkward.
yeah.
it still even kind of looks good. It's hard to describe. Like, it still looks good. All the action, everything still works. Everything, and it's top tier. It's still everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's one of those, they don't make them like this anymore.
That's true. Yeah. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because I had watched bits and pieces of it when I was young, but I had never actually watched the whole series from start to finish. And so I did that earlier this year. I watched the entire series from start to finish in 2 weeks. Because it's only like 24 episodes.
Yeah.
And honestly, I mean, even now, even though I've been an anime fan for a long time, even now, I loved it. And you said, the animation still holds up. Like nowadays, you have the Demon Slayers and the Jujutsu Kaisens and all these ones where like the flashy graphics and everything, all that stuff is hip and in right now. But I feel like Cowboy Bebop, the animation style is just classic.
It's so
Yeah.
good. And the choreography is still really good.
The fights.
He fights Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
That's where they
but
kind
his,
of
kind of modeled the character after.
Yeah, but even the fluidity of his movement, the choreography that they choose.
There's no animation shortcuts in it. Like, even today with all the flashy graphics, it'll be a pose and then everything behind them is moving.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
And this is this moving. All the characters moving all the time.
Yeah. So, I mean, honestly, I would still, to this day, recommend Cowboy Bebop to anybody who's just starting out in anime.
Yeah.
As a classic that stands the test of time.
Yeah.
Because
it's an anime original too, isn't it? Is there a manga for it? I think it might be.
I don't know.
No,
honestly.
it is an anime.
It's
original.
an anime.
They
I think
made
they did
it
a
was,
manga.
it was one of those
anime.
things where they manga after, they make it after.
Like, I need you to continue the story.
Right.
Yeah.
Type thing.
Right.
But-
well, I mean, that ending.
Did you actually finish
You
it?
finished it.
Yeah.
Finally.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Finally.
Begrudgingly.
Yeah. But no, I think it's fantastic. I would definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one of our 90s gems.
I would also add,
us.
the story is great because every episode holds on its own.
Yes.
True.
As
Yeah,
it's
true.
telling an overarching narrative.
Yeah,
And they don't,
yeah.
like a lot of animes now, like a Demon Slayer or whatever, that try to have they still kind of sprinkle in the overarching. This one, it'll give you some like episode 3 of the overarching narrative, and then maybe something else in like episode 5. But it didn't constantly remind you. It's like, oh yeah, Vicious in the background doing something somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Kind of sprinkled it out
Yeah.
so everything can hold on its own.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I know this isn't fair to do this, but after watching the first 1.5 episodes of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, it makes
You
me
still
realize
haven't gotten past 1.5 episodes.
it makes me
it's
realize
garbage.
Well, it makes me realize that it's a hard
I
thing
can't
to
agree
do.
with that anymore.
Huh?
I
I'll
hate
try
to
to. I'm gonna
say
try to get to where
I hate
Malcolm
to say
is,
it,
but
Jordan.
that
I
joint,
honestly do from the bottom of my heart. It hurts me because Mike Daniels, friend of the show,
Jesus,
had been trying to get me to watch that for like a year and a half,
Yeah.
and now that I'm in it, it's like it's not that bad.
But comparing that to Cowboy Bebop, it makes you realize that it's not an easy thing to put together something like this. The score, of course, is one of my favorite things out of the whole show. One of the favorite things. One of the questions I want to ask y'all.
so good.
Yeah.
I love jazz too, so I'm
Yeah.
like, this is a melody.
Yeah.
I love because I feel like that was one of the first animes too that kind of explored kind of like that jazz hop
Yeah.
kind of vibe that is popular now, you know.
So there's I don't want to interrupt because it's a particular episode that I'm thinking.
Well, yeah.
about.
So what I'm getting into is like, what are some of our favorite moments of the show? In this case, maybe favorite episodes, because like Malcolm said, some of these it'd be hard to say moments as if everything just was like this linear story when it's pretty dynamic. Even with Ed, which I guess somebody may talk about, which is like she has it's a very dynamic story where a lot of people have a lot of different things going on. But I guess, what are some of your favorite moments?
Mine is kind of not connected to anything. I mean, there's like it kind of like touches on the love line with Spike and Faye or whatever. But the episode is called Peter the Fool. I'm not going to say it in French because I don't speak French. But when I saw the title, I was like, there's a French film with this name. And then I went to go look it up, and it's Jean-Luc Godard. Also, again, can't speak French.
Don't know better than
Right. But I remember thinking about, I was like, then trying to draw like parallels between that and like when we were talking about the score and stuff like that it reminds me of that era of film where they used a lot of like almost like jazz style music to emphasize a lot of stuff in that French director in particular. Some of the stuff in his like most famous film Breathless, where he utilizes some of the music to emphasize kind of the jump cuts and stuff like that he was using in the film. And so there was a lot of stuff that made me think of like just old classic French film. And so I was just kind of like, this is so good. Like watching it younger, you appreciate that it's good because it's like, ooh, action, all kind of stuff or whatever. But then older on this side, after knowing more things, and then watching it again and just being like, this is fucking art. Like, this is so good. So I'm like, oh my God. Or the even so, like, what really any of the action scenes that they had, they were doing like jazz music, not even like hip hop jazz, but it's like jazz music and utilizing like the horns and stuff to really like, I don't know, and it just made the fight seem more.
Right. Yeah. They did a really good job of doing that without actually pow, bang,
right.
But jazz lends itself to that so much,
because it's like 80% improvisation.
Yeah, but people
and then you have like something up tempo,
so
that's like more mellow, down tempo stuff. So like you had like the more melancholy moments in the show that had like a really like solemn jazz vibe, and then like you have like the really up tempo jazz like during the fights, like you talking about. So like, it lends itself really well.
Some of them they dropped the music out completely.
Yes,
and it
brings
weight.
that attention.
Yeah,
and especially around Spike, like that's dope because around Spike it kind of lets you know. Also, when he was maybe messing around, and then towards the end, right when him and Vicious, he gets a little more serious, and so they do a lot of them drop out parts. So it's like, okay, he's not playing right now.
Right.
It's not for play.
But I'm like, jazz really lends itself to especially fight scenes. I think I appreciate, like, people get hyped with The Rock and stuff with the fight scenes in anime nowadays, but I'm like, man, if you were doing comparisons, jazz really, really, really lends itself to fight scenes in particular, because it can be play, like Spike's fighting style specifically is very playful. And so the jazz music that plays behind his fighting styles is usually a little bit more playful and up tempo, and they play a little bit more with the keys of the songs and stuff like that. Like they color outside of the lines in his fight scenes, and I'm like, did they? This is not canned music. They had to, like, I wish I knew more about how they composed the music for this, because I'm like, this is not canned. Somebody was watching this fight scene happen,
right,
and made the music for this scene
That's a
specifically.
good point.
It's
I like
that good.
It's true.
It is that good. Oh my God.
Well, that's
that
usually
good.
how they kind of compose.
Right, but it's
music,
like, but
though.
it's jazz though, so they can play as
Yeah,
much
yeah,
as
you can
he's
play a
playing.
little
They can
more.
play.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so
'Cause
fucking good.
Even in, well, I just thought about that because in my head I'm a fighter.
He'd be like, "Oh, I'll be fighting."
I'm fighting in my head, my imaginary shadow boxing. But even like jazz has a time, but it sounds like it doesn't.
Yeah.
So you can be on beat, but like do things unexpectedly, and like you said, that how Spike fights in it, like it's controlled, but it seems like he's just like, go, somebody's swinging now, I gotta do something, but he's in control the whole time.
You can touch on every dodge, every
he flows he flows in and out of all his moves, and he's always aware.
A call to Watanabe in particular, I feel like that's the same kind of genius he had when he was picking the music style for like Samurai Champloo, where it's just like he specifically chose hip hop, and then hip hop lent itself, or that style of music in general lent itself so well to the way that Mugen fights. And so we were able to kind of like, I don't know, even like the way that he like kind of break dances and capoeira-esques his thing went with the disc, like, you know what I mean? Like the way you like would skip a disc. What is it called? Yeah. Scratch a disc. Listen, I sound
She's
cool?
not a DJ, guys.
She's here washing dishes instead of making
Let me
Doing
catch,
one of these
let me
things.
catch you at somebody prom doing this.
It's just,
They be like,
but like you know the way he like his fighting style just lends itself to it, and I'm like, Watanabe is a fucking.
What's great
genius.
about the music too is the episode when she was with the truck, when he was with the truck driver lady, when it's chasing the dude.
Yes.
That half that episode was heavy metal, and all they do was ramming shit and trying to blow shit up.
That's funny.
Yes.
Anyway,
that's
I'll
fine.
stop now because I could talk about the music of this forever.
And the cool thing about this show too is like their episode, every single, like a lot of animes, but that are great. Not every episode is directed or written by the same people, and so that's why you have all these different kind of genres and feels. You have these like murder mysteries, but you also have these. One of my favorite ones is Toys in the Attic. It's the most random episode out the entire series.
I don't remember any of the names, so you have to give me the context.
So the spoiler is, well, no, I'll start where they. A random blob is running around and is biting people.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And they think that people are like getting taken out by this.
Well,
so
they're like
one by one. Yeah, they just faint and they falling out. And
that was a pretty funny episode.
It was, because it felt serious for a minute. So like all of them falling out.
What?
And then at the end you're like,
it is, like, bruh.
It reminds me of this Star Trek episode where there's something in the vents that's like killing people and making them act crazy. Yeah. So I just automatically think of that.
Then also, for me, it feels like Doctor Who, because there are a couple episodes that are like that too. That
or The Thing.
Yes. Yeah. So, and I think that
Chris, you should watch that.
No.
And that's why I think and there are a few episodes on here where you can tell that they're kind of paying homage to, because it's just a very random episode. It doesn't link to anything. It doesn't go anything else. It's just they spend a whole episode of them just getting hunted down by a blob.
I wonder if he's just a student of film, like, because there are a lot of like things in different episodes where you're just like, that has that kind of like a film student playing type of attitude. Oh, the cinematography in this. So good.
It's
just
like,
listen.
It's like old like gumshoe stuff. Like Casablanca, Cagney stuff. Like this
even the callbacks to blaxploitation are like just spot on.
How did y'all feel about that? That was one of my how does y'all feel like their portrayal of they had multiple black characters throughout the whole series, especially Jackie Brown. How did y'all feel about that?
I'm okay with it because the aesthetic for the whole series was 70s.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Like the whole aesthetic was, and they weren't
It wasn't
like,
like they were just.
and
like,
they weren't like,
yeah.
listen,
Jive,
he get job,
Yeah, right,
They didn't do none of that. So
Listen here, sucker.
excuse me, sir, I speak jive. Airplane, anybody?
Yes.
Great scene.
I can't.
That's hilarious.
I think that I like it, and I think that I appreciate it mostly because of the same reason that I mentioned we were talking about the Promised Neverland and representation and stuff. Even with like the Sister Crone stuff or whatever, there's a lot of depiction of people of different races in that series because it's working in the context of a world that's not our world.
Yeah.
So it's like it would be more egregious for him to create a series like Cowboy Bebop and there only be one
Everyone's the
race
same.
of people
Yeah.
than it is
Or
for him
only
to
Lando
try to.
Calrissian.
Yeah, right, exactly.
There's only
The one nigga that made it to space. Yeah,
And he a thief.
exactly, right.
Stealing everybody's shit.
But he considered the idea that if the world is destroyed and people are living in outposts all over the galaxy, that it would be super diverse and it would matter more what outpost you're on than what race you are in a lot of different scenarios. And again, the 70s vibe and stuff. So it makes sense that the influence of blaxploitation would be in there because that was a huge part of influential American media at the time.
But that was also just the general style too. Even
Yeah.
taking out the blaxploitation shows.
That was the style of film in that era. So yeah, I'm not mad at it. I know a lot of people don't love it, but I'm not upset.
But
I saw a couple think pieces on it. Like when we were looking up bad representation.
Yeah, that she was
that
on
came
there.
up.
She was, yeah.
Yeah,
And
but
I was
I
like,
mean,
oh,
that's
she's
both
not that
sides.
bad.
But that's
came up
out
in-
of context because if you look at a random photo from 1968,
Right.
everybody's gonna look like that. I got pictures of my uncles look like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
mom.
right.
same.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, my mom got the same kind of fro.
So
Yeah.
technically,
You know, back
that,
then,
given
legit.
the 70s overall aesthetic, that's
Exactly.
perfect representation.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Michigo to Hachin has the same style of
Yeah.
character in their cop character in there. And it's like, but she's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't have no issues with it.
I didn't either.
You talk about cinematography. There's that. So when Ed tricks them into finding her pops,
That was a
which
funny
is
episode.
ultimate
yeah.
finesse.
Yeah, that was.
But along with that episode, it kind of I appreciate their world building.
Yes.
Everything
Yeah.
is unique. Everything is different, and it doesn't feel forced. So, for me, for example, Star Wars sometimes feel forced. Or the world building, it's like we got to show you this because it's the big world, the big universe. It's like I don't really care at all. And this one, they did a really good job of.
Yeah.
Okay, this is integral for what's going on, or this is integral for what's happening. Even when they do a lot of those chase scenes, like what's it earlier in the when they're chasing Faye, when they first meet Faye.
Oh yeah.
Lord, sorry, I'm losing it.
And every planet has its own aesthetic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Everywhere
that's true.
feels different.
Mm-hmm.
It
Yeah.
feels different.
Oh, this just let me know they gonna mess up the Netflix. Well, rewatching it let me know that they're going to
You
mess
have
it
the
up.
same anxiety as all the regular fans now.
I mean,
because
they're-
it's the problem. That's so, and we can talk about that now. Is how do we think the Netflix show is going to measure up? And they don't have to be 1-to-1, but do we think they're going to?
no.
Because my problem is they cared about a lot of different things.
Yeah, that's true.
In this anime, it wasn't just are the characters good? Is the voice acting good? Is the music good? Is it? They cared about the story plot over. Everybody had an arc. Every single body that was on that ship on the Bebop had an arc, even include Ed and finding her father and losing her father, trying to go find her father. Yeah,
But-
it has a very traumatic story, if you ask me.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know if the Netflix show can lend
They're
itself
gonna
to all
mess
of
it
those
up
different
in
things.
three possible ways.
Okay.
The first way is they're going to only do half the story and try to force it into a second season, which would be a mistake.
Yeah.
They are either going to have, like I said, each story each episode could be on its own. They're going to try to put a plot thread through every episode, which they have to take away from how good they could do it.
Right. That'd be the show.
That second one. Yeah. Third way, they're going to mess up the music.
Oh God! No, they got their the original composer.
They got their original composer.
Yeah,
okay, so they're not gonna mess
that part.
Up the
they probably will get right.
Okay.
Hopefully, unless they tell them,
yeah, you have to do
that,
this,
but we want to do something else.
You were brilliant the first time around.
But
let's not be
as smooth of a person.
You say what?
Let's scale it back a little bit. All right.
Who's the lead actor?
What's his face? John Cho is his name.
Harold and Kumar.
Yeah.
Is he that smooth of a person?
No, but that's why I hesitated when they cast him.
That was my problem.
That was Lance's critique from the very beginning.
Spike is one of the smooth, like
you know who they should have got?
Who?
You remember we watched that spaghetti Western Samurai one where the dude tried to the main dude from that. The main bad guy from that.
Wait, what show was that?
It's called.
And he's not fine.
It's called Sukiyaki Django,
which
is
spaghetti western. It's a Quentin Tarantino film.
Tarantino,
okay.
Yeah.
So they're Japanese actors, but they all speak in English.
It's Django, but it's Japanese actors, and it has a Japanese aesthetic, but they're speaking in English, so everybody has a heavy Japanese accent.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
It's great
good, though. It's really good.
But the main character looks like Spike. And he's super smooth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I mean, that's like
he might have
not
been as digestible as I think they're going to try to make this.
Yeah, but he would have worked for the
Here's my
aesthetic.
The world building wise, if they go Disney Plus budget and hit with some of the stuff that they did with The Mandalorian, with the LED screens to enhance the scenery and stuff like that, it might turn out at least looking beautiful. I hope that that's a new trend in the film because it feels so much better than the CGI stuff that they do, like the because they still use CGI to make it blend or whatever and to build the world behind them. But having the big screens, it makes it feel, it's almost like you're filming live. And so they have in the Disney Plus series, I was watching it and they had like a team of people that were correcting on the spot. Mm-hmm. Like color correcting, and they're seeing him in front of the screens in the world and being able to, okay, the light is shining and his armor is all metal. Yeah. So they have to be conscious of where the light is, how it's shining on him every time he turns during the action scenes, making sure that the light's shining off of the right spot and correcting things or whatever. Just, big budget tings. But who knows? Right. Who knows if they're gonna give that kind of budget and time to this series? But if they did, it'd look amazing.
Because the thing is even if they gave it a minimal effort, like half of this show a third of the show is on ships.
It's on the ship, yeah.
So if they could just give the minimal effort in the world building,
they can at least make the ship look good.
Right.
Those parts will look good.
Right. And then
then it'll be up to the actors to do their part.
As far as the outer space fights with the shooting ships.
At this point, Star Wars exists.
You can do it.
So.
Right. Yeah. I'm like,
you can do it.
You can do it.
I don't think that would be a problem.
That's, again, big budget things.
Yeah, it is. But Netflix has done sci-fi stuff before.
Have they done space good stuff though?
Yeah, they have.
Actually, they've done that better than the other stuff.
Oh yeah.
Done it better than
I don't
trying
think.
To think of
me personally, I don't think the aesthetic is going to be the problem. I think it'll be the story. I think that'll be the big hang up. Because I think realistically nowadays with all the technology that's out there, they could make a Cowboy Bebop look really good. They could, because it's not fantastical. It's not like something like with One Piece where you're like got this nigga arm stretches. The physics behind the show work in real life. And so I don't feel like that is too far-fetched to where they could have a struggle making that look realistic.
I hope they don't make it too clean either.
Yeah.
Because Cowboy Bebop is a very
kind of had like a rugged kind of feel to it. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like his ship was never fully repaired after any fight he was in.
Right.
I was like, nigga, you finna fly that? Like, you better chill out.
And it was always breaking. Like, shout out to Ed.
Yeah,
right.
But no, I think for me, it'll be interesting to see how they do each individual character's backstory.
Yeah.
Kind of like what you were saying too. If they like try and make everything linear instead of doing kind of like the meandering path that the original show had, because like each person's story, like you said, like each episode could be like a standalone episode. You know, like each person's story for the most part fit into like 1 or 2 episodes.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, and so if you try and force the story into a linear format, I feel like you could mess it up, your story up.
I feel like they'll probably take everybody else's story out and just do Spike's.
You think so?
To abbreviate it, because aren't they only going to try to do like 6 or 10 episodes
That's
or
the
something
problem
like that?
too. Is like because I mean, you have a 24 show or 24 episode show, which is not a lot. It's not a lot of shows.
You could do the whole show. You could
do the whole thing, but I think this thing nowadays, like most, like Netflix, most shows don't have a season past like 15, 16 episodes of anything really.
Right. Well, that's not the American standard of a season of a show. Isn't that long?
But it's not an American show, so you know.
They're making it for an American audience. So
all I can say
but
is,
they're making it for an American
get your level up.
That
audience
likes
who's watching
anime.
it because it's not an American show.
That's very true. That's very true.
Yeah. But no, it'll be interesting to see how they do their stories. I don't really like how they did Faye's story in the original, just because I felt
I
like
was just gonna ask y'all what y'all didn't like.
I don't like Faye's backstory just because it felt rushed at the end. Like I felt like because they waited too long to go into Faye's backstory, that by the time they do, you're like in the second to last episode, and you're like,
He
they
has
built
that
up the
same
mystery.
problem in Samurai Champloo too, with the girl at the end.
Yeah.
You're just kind of like,
what are we supposed to do with her?
Right.
Right.
No, but like in Faye's case, they built up the mystery so much.
that her
Like,
actual
where
story
did
was
she
a
come
letdown.
from? Yeah, you're like,
I'm like that. Yeah, that's it. Like,
It's like Wolverine's origin.
yeah, I'm like, come on.
Just let it be a mystery.
Yeah.
Just let that be part of who she is.
And that's the thing is like I feel like it would have been better if they
you
would have
never
just
found
left
out.
Faye's story at the fact that she doesn't remember anything. Cool,
Yeah.
whatever.
That's one thing I think that's hard in general, is I think that there is a lot of like anime that has that kind of like, what do we do with the girl type of thing,
true.
where you're just kind of like, if for someone like me who's like, I wish I wanted you to be better.
Yeah.
Shout out to Ed being part of the Red Pill community.
That's funny. That's funny.
Part of the manosphere.
Yo.
That's funny.
Mess.
That's
Uncle
funny.
Kevin is proud of you, Ed.
Jesus,
man. Shout out Ed. Ed, low key, one of my favorite characters on the show.
I do love Ed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like this episode when he went to the prison ship
Yeah.
with his old partner and found out his partner played him the whole time.
Yo, I was just going that is
I think out of all of them, Jet's black story is my favorite.
that was insane because
Yeah.
that they give his whole backstory.
Yeah,
like,
right.
Oh yeah, this
Yeah.
is. Oh man.
Yeah, with the girl getting a new dude, and then his guy betrayed him. It was like, damn, man.
You really are a nigga, ain't you? Like,
Right.
Right.
I will say, I don't know where we're going next after this, but just throwing that out there. Maybe
No, what we
talk
don't
about
like.
it later. Spike deserved it, though. Spike deserved it. He
That's a
stole.
hot
His,
take.
Oh, for sure.
he stole his nigga's girl. Understandable.
Shout out to the Red Pill community and Burger Me.
Vicious. I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, like y'all was fucking around. You supposed to be his best friend, and you supposed to be his girl, and y'all fucking around on him.
And it was like
he is justifiably upset. And then y'all call yourselves playing his bitch ass. Yeah. What did you think was gonna happen?
Yeah, right.
I don't understand.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it can't be mad. I'm sad to see it happen because he's so cool and I like him and stuff. But I'd be like, I mean,
he had to come.
should have, kept it in your pants. I
You know
don't
what they
to tell
say?
you.
Play stupid games, win stupid prizes, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway, just wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah, right.
I can't say the Piper R&B's name on what's the name? It's like the download videos. And Vicious is Mr. Big.
Oh my God.
He took it there.
Oh, it's about to be some. Yeah, that.
How did
What,
I
her
get
in the
into
background?
this? She never came home with this.
No.
Shut up! Yo, that's like,
Oh my
that's
god.
exactly that's the story.
So
That's,
yeah, Cowboy
did he
Bebop
pull the
is
sword
trapped
out?
in the closet.
yeah,
Oh my
no,
God.
Cowboy Bebop is
Cowboy
trapped in the
Bebop
closet.
is trapped in the closet.
No, it's
slash
download, slash
no, that was
Slash download.
slash contagious. It's all the
Yeah,
same
that's what that
storyline.
is.
There's like 4 music videos in that storyline.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh man. And then
That's fucking good.
You wild for that.
but no, so yeah, I think so we'll see. We'll end off with our rating, but I am still gonna watch the Netflix adaptation. I'm not
yeah.
I mean, I watched
Yeah.
Death Note, so it can't be any worse than that.
See, I didn't watch that.
Can't be worse than
I
that.
couldn't do it. I couldn't
mean,
do that.
I might now, but I couldn't.
I sat through Dragon Ball Z.
Oh,
No,
you
Evolution?
did?
The
the movie?
evolution?
I watched the
God.
first scene and I was like, nope.
I saw a picture of Piccolo and was like, I'm not
I saw
watching that.
who they cast as Goku. And nope.
So like I have no reason to not sit through one of my favorite animes at live
They
action
think nerds
adaptation.
is so stupid. Man.
I know, they really do.
Like you go just put
Well,
a
but
title
the problem
up there,
is, right,
and
the
we
problem
gonna
is they do the
flood
shit
to it.
version.
Yeah.
Looking at you, Chung Lee, the fuck. And then
Nani?
and then it doesn't make any money, and they're like, it wouldn't make money
people
if we
just
did
don't like
it.
anime adaptations. No, we just didn't like what you did.
Right. We didn't
don't
like
mean we don't
your
like it.
anime
trash.
adaptation. Fuck you.
Let's go ahead and do this. Rating 1 to 10. 1, I'll never watch this ever again. 6, room for improvement. Could have been better. No 7s allowed. And
Just
10,
6.
easily bingeable. What did I say earlier?
Bingeable would watch again or would finish.
No, I had a phrase with it.
I don't remember.
But
don't
definitely
remember either.
bingeable. We'll watch forever. Where are we at with it? I'm gonna go with 10. I don't gotta explain myself to nobody. It's my favorite show. It's literally
It's like, you can catch me outside if you have any problems.
yeah, it's literally how I got into sure I watched Dragon Ball Z probably first on Toonami, but this was the show that I cared about when I watched this. I had a connection to it. So yeah, 10, man, for all the reasons we stated. And ultimately I can put this on any day of the week on any of the episodes and just play. I had in my old apartment I had it set up where I was making beats and I would have my a flat screen and just playing different stuff. And I would have anime playing. I had it hooked up to my laptop, so I just play anime in the background on mute. And this one is one I have on mute and then not on mute. So it's a dear show to me, for sure.
I'm giving it a 9.5.
I like Chris ratings.
Why?
It's why?
9.2, 3 repeating.
right. Well, you should see me at work because I judge it based off of the fraction of Trey. So if it is a third or a sixth, I do 0.3 ... or 0.6 ...
Not just the point 6667.
No.
Oh.
I just do ... because it's more true to the fraction because it goes on forever. In any case,
That's so unsettling.
Nerd.
Nerd. Not kidding.
I was like, no,
For
9.5.
eternity.
Yeah,
Right.
Because I think that I don't really have a lot of shows that I do go back to and watch again. There are shows that I think are completely bingeable and that I love dearly that I will probably never go back and rewatch it. I'll watch clips, I'll watch episodes or something like that, but I never really go back and rewatch a whole show again.
That's fair.
This show, though, is very close to something that I could see myself sitting down and being like, what I'm going to watch today? You know what? I just have a taste for Cowboy Bebop. I don't know why. I just randomly will watch it again. But it's one of those series that it's I really, really, really enjoy, and I would suggest it to anyone.
Yep.
So it's a 10. You just don't like the numbers that we put out there. I think it's the thing.
No, I don't think so.
That's the
I
buck
think,
tradition.
right.
Get
I
the
was
hands off me.
but I'm is there if I had to think about, but it's still just a show. It's bingeable. I mean, yeah, I watched it, but am I going back to it? I don't know. I don't think so because I watched it and I know how it ends. It's not necessarily something that I'm so endeared to where it's oh my God, I gotta experience that again. Do you know what I mean? when I get the series where I'm like, I watched it and then I watched it 3 more times, that's the one that I'll be like,
Well, you don't like
it's
to
a
finish
10.
things in general, so you
Shut up, Malcolm.
really- Gotcha.
I mean, where's the lie though?
I got you one, Jordan.
Appreciate you. Appreciate you.
So yeah, 9.5.
I think for me, yeah, I'd probably give it like a 9. And I think what's keeping me from giving it a 10 is probably just Faye's backstory, how they handled that. Wasn't a fan of it. So, other than that, yeah, kind of like all the same things you said. It's a fantastic show. Like the score is amazing. The story is fantastic. You know, the animation still holds up to this day, even though the show's damn near 30 years old. So I mean, it's fantastic.
Oh,
and
real
yeah,
quick. Speaking of things that are 30 years old.
Whoa.
Jordan's birthday is tomorrow as of filming, but as of when you see this,
It will have been,
gonna
yeah, a few
have
days
already
past.
happened. So
I wish him a happy birthday everywhere.
yeah.
His handles is all over the place. So
Right.
It's true.
Anyway,
Come
go
find me
on.
social medias. Yeah, so this is also one that I would totally recommend to anybody that's not already an anime fan. So like as a good starter anime, like, or maybe like a good maybe second or third anime just because of its age. But like,
yeah,
I mean, even then I would still recommend this as like a great anime for people that aren't necessarily specifically already anime fans.
yeah.
So especially because the dub version is also really good. So
Yeah.
you know,
You
for
can't
people
miss
that
either
don't
way.
want to read subtitles because, you know, niggas ain't trying to read, I guess. You know, it's good for those people as well.
Something
Yeah.
like you, Malcolm. That's what you're trying to get at.
No, I don't read books. I read screens
How do you
quite
not
well.
read books?
No, I was more.
Well, I don't read mangas.
Actually,
Like, I
speaking
just
of my
know.
book of the month club subscription is renewing. I gotta pick a book to read. Go on.
I might pick up a manga to read. I don't know yet, but I like the physical books. Like I can't like look at it through my phone.
Yeah,
I would have to get the physical
Yeah.
book.
most definitely.
What was I gonna say? 10. I'll give it a 10. Because for me, it's like when you like, oh yeah, that album was cold,
Yeah.
but then you re-listen to it, it's like, oh, this shit's cold.
Yo, I just
You know when black folks drag out a word,
Right.
Yo,
it's like the
I-
emphasis.
Like,
you know,
No, but like I feel you because I just got a punchline. You remember 6 Minutes of Death? Cassidy,
Yeah,
Fabulous, Lil Wayne,
Yeah.
and Fabulous has a line. He says, and this ain't politically correct. My money about 6 midgets long. I throw bread around just to piss pigeons off.
Yeah.
And I didn't understand the second part until like
First of all,
yesterday. I was
Fab
like, oh, throw bread
punchline
around
king.
because pigeons like bread.
Yeah.
Fabulous
Anyway,
is
that's-
punchline king.
Yeah. That's
and
how
the best wardrobe
That's
in the
pretty
game.
funny.
Best
Yes.
wardrobe in the game.
yes.
Punchline
Fabulous.
king.
But that's how I felt rewatching Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah, or-
oh, I didn't notice that though. Oh.
or re-listening to a Lupe album.
Yes. Yes.
Like he said, what?
What did he say? Murals?
Oh my gosh. No. See, but this is what he meant.
see, you be cracking up this Lupe stuff, bro.
but I mean, but it's like Chris said with the French film thing. Like that's Lupe
Yeah.
levels of going back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like because
I can't
on
believe
Mural,
you did that shit. Listen, Watanabe, I would like to talk. I would like to sit down and talk. Just picking your brain. How does it work? Why does it work that way in particular? I'm fascinated.
Yes.
I need to know more.
Yes.
Y'all need to watch Carol and Tuesday. I'm just thinking about that.
Yeah. Aren't we doing a review on that later this year?
I feel like that's on
I
our
feel like
list.
it's on our
Okay.
list.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's why. Because it's like rewatching. It's like, oh, this is cold. Like it's still cold to this. I will put it up against anything that's come out in the last 5 years.
I agree
Yeah,
with that
I would too,
sentiment.
honestly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like and not to cut in on your take, but just people taking shortcuts on the stories.
Yeah, for sure.
Nowadays. It's
The
like
stories, the animation.
Nowadays,
CGI.
like the animation is the biggest draw.
yeah.
Like if your show isn't animated well, people aren't even.
You ain't gonna
You're not
But
gonna catch
the
somebody's
thing
attention.
is, it's not even technically animated well. It's just flashy.
Right.
Like
Yeah,
Cowboy
right. Well, yeah,
Bebop
exactly.
is animated
Right.
well. Like ain't no jump. Like ain't no.
I will say that
jump cuts.
the fights, a lot of the fight scenes in Boruto too, the main ones are animated.
Yeah,
well.
the headliner fights
are animated.
The headliner fights are like how they
Right.
did the Momoshiki
Yeah.
Sasuke.
All
like,
of them are like that.
Well,
even
and
the Sakura Shin fight was on that level. That
So
made me
good.
like Sakura for like 15 seconds.
Right, before you remember what she fucking did to Naruto.
Yeah, right.
Then you're like, fuck that
Well, and
bitch.
speaking of on the Boruto, not to belittle that
No,
point,
you're
but
good.
like, have you seen Naruto's
Not
newest?
yet.
I
newest
know what's
transformation?
going to happen though. Also,
But I haven't watched it yet.
because I read. And
You think you better than everybody because you read?
listen,
don't
but
even read
but I have
She
a
read a little
I
bit.
have
She's
a
like a
certain
diet
amount-
reader.
right.
I don't care about your
Like-
books, nigga.
but I have a certain amount of for those who read, sadness.
Sadness? What?
I have a certain amount of sadness about this part of the thing.
About Boruto? I mean, I haven't been following the story. I just know that Naruto gets a dope ass
is
power
anybody following it? Oh
No,
no, I
'cause
won't
Boruto's
spoil it.
whack.
I won't spoil it because we're recording. But
Oh, I think I know. I
fucking
think I know what
sad.
you're talking about. Because I mean, I kind of unintentionally spoiled myself on Boruto, but I don't
Yeah.
really care because I stopped watching it a while ago. So
Yeah, I started watching it a little while ago too.
and I haven't read
yeah.
it, even though apparently reading it's supposed to be better. But I don't know.
yeah.
It's one,
I have
that's one
some
that
on
lost my
shelf.
interest real quickly.
Ahora.
Yeah. Let me recap. 9.5,
Yes.
10, 9,
Yep.
10. So average 10.
I don't think that averages work. You're like,
It's at least 9.8.
Those
We're
are
gonna take
outliers.
the two highest scores.
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah,
Grading on a
there's
curve.
one-
Grading on a
Haters
curve.
on the
damned.
curve.
what is it? Not median?
The media.
When I learned that in elementary,
Median.
I was like, this is a cheat code. There's no
Not
way
a
I'm gonna
cheat
fail
code.
any test that asks me what the median number is. Anyways, all I have to say is y'all know the slogan. Stay colorful. Peace.